Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the Autism Daily sessions. Question I often get asked, and this one I've put out there because it wasn't one that was sent in. But, I feel that I need to answer it. And the question is there anything that I can try before starting pharma medication with my autistic child? So this answer really is my opinion. I have to tell you, and I always tell the parents that ask me this, that starting pharmaceutical intervention with your child is a very personal decision, and that we would recommend that you do your research about the long-term effects of many of the medications used within autism. So my opinion on the matter is that, yes, it's important to try. It's important to try therapies. It's important to try interventions, everything possible before, jumping just into a pharmaceutical, into the pharmaceutical route. And my reasons really for this is, medication can help some children, but they often don't help all children. It's definitely not a guaranteed fix to anything. There can be very many side effects, with my own daughter, and I did try the pharmaceutical route for about 30 days. When she was 3 years old, I was exhausted. My child wouldn't sleep, and I got given a script, and I tried it. It scared me. It scared me to see how my child had changed so quickly. She went from being this bubbly, busy, bundle of joy to a child that kind of just sat around with no life in her eyes. She had changed totally. We noticed sinus problems pretty much within the first few days, lots of sniffles, constantly sneezing, constantly, having problems with just her nose in general. And oh my goodness, the eating and weight gain, and she's 15 years old now, and we've never really been able to get rid of that month of her just shoveling food into her face. And the weird thing was she had so many eating problems before she started this medication, that for me to see that she was literally eating anything that I gave her almost didn't make it a side effect. But I realized that, that medication isn't going to cure her autism. It's not going to take who she is in essence away. And that to me was very important to learn right in the beginning of my daughter's journey, or my journey with my daughter, because, I was causing other problems by giving her this medication when she was still such a tiny baby. And, then I remember a medical doctor, a very reputable medical doctor, turning around and saying to me, well, if you start these Schedule 5 and Schedule 6 medications with your child when they're 3 years old, what are they going to be drinking when they're 10 and 12 and 15? And we're dealing with hormone problems and all of that, how many pills is she going to have to be on? And wow, that just like hit me. And it was such a profound moment for me in a parenting journey that for me, it just wasn't the right thing to do. I think it's very important for us to look at the very specific challenges that the child has before we make these kind of decisions. I think it's important for parents to not just accept that pharma script, and to kind of just put it on. 2-year-olds are meant to be busy. 2-year-olds are meant to be running and climbing a bit and doing those sort of things. I think that it's important to consult with nutritionists and dietitians, understand your child, understand their gut issues, understand how gastrointestinally your child is affected by their autism spectrum disorder. Where possible, try natural supplementation first. Speak to herbologists. Just get the full understanding of everything available to you before you just do that as a first point. But I started off this particular slide as saying that that was my opinion. It was my experience. And let me tell you, I was very glad that I went that route, because after going back to a doctor and talking to her about my concerns, and basically the answer being up the dosage, I realized that I needed to do something else. And my daughter is not medicated, and I'm so glad that I did that. Yes, sleep has always been a problem for us, and yes, there's days where her emotions are all over the show. But what we've done on our journey is to address very specific challenges that she's had over her lifetime so far. So when there was anxiety, we addressed specifically the anxiety. When we have tummy problems, we dealt with the tummy problems as a unit, not as part of her autism. We went and we saw gastrointestinal specialists to make sure that her tummy and gut issues get resolved. When we dealt with sleep, we didn't go, my child is autistic, she doesn't sleep, and she's hyperactive and everything else. Give me one pill to fix it, because that pill doesn't exist. We had to find ways to deal with her sleep troubles. And that is what we did. We tackled that particular symptom as a problem. We didn't look at everything and say, hey, listen here, let's try and find a solution for everything. When Maddie started developing concentration problems, we dealt with that as one element, not as, okay, let's see how many pills we can put on, put this child on and try and address everything in the same fashion. So getting your child specialized intervention, getting your child to a school that specializes in helping your autistic child, that is what is important. Yes, I think inclusion is wonderful. And I think it's fantastic that there's so many preschools out there that are willing to take on autistic, toddlers and children in their early development years. Just make sure that the person that is your child's teacher actually understands autism. Because taking your child on isn't about babysitting your child. It's about helping your child overcoming the difficulties that they have. And with the right intervention, it could be years before, you have to turn to any form of pharmaceutical assistance. And yes, there are instances where, pharmaceutical intervention is required. If a child is self-harming, if a child's aggression levels have reached a place of being dangerous for the child or for the parents or for friends, yes, then consulting a medical professional and getting the child some form of pharma intervention would be recommended. So don't ignore the aggressive behavior. Don't ignore the fact that your child is self-harming, because those do need help. But not everything that your child is going through requires pharmaceutical intervention. It does require specialized intervention. Find that autistic school. Find the academy or the early intervention center. Find a speech therapist that can give you guidance when you're in a small town and you don't have access to schools like Amazing K. Find an occupational therapist. These ladies are angels. They can help you with a home-based program. Join training programs. Read, study. That's what I've done every single day of my life. I'm still reading and researching. And, if I look at how many advances have been made in autism and in autism intervention globally, and how much information there's available, there should be no reason, why you kind of just give your child this drug when they're 2 years old and just keep them on it for the rest of their lives. I've met 4 and 5-year-olds that are on 4 and 5 and 6 different scheduled pharmaceutical drugs. And that's wrong. What is that doing to the child in the long run? Please, guys, autism is a lifelong neurological disorder. It's not something your child is going to outgrow. So realize that the medication decisions that you make, which are personal, and I respect you for making those decisions, because your child is your child, and how I've raised my child is obviously my business, and how you raise yours is yours. But Autism Daily is about us giving advice and us talking openly and freely about a topic that's not always that easy to talk about. I have really enjoyed my time with you these last 31 days of Autism Awareness Month. I hope that you guys have gained a lot of insight, and please feel free to visit our videos again. Feel free to drop us a line and stay in touch. Follow our Facebook pages, get insight on autism and on the spectrum, because ultimately this is a journey you're going to walk with your child for very many years. We look forward to seeing you again. Whilst it may not be during our little morning sessions together, it definitely will be on our journey as autism parents together. Take care of you, stay safe, and just know that whatever it is you're battling with today, it will get easier. Our children are just so incredible. We just need to give them the time and the space to develop their personalities and to settle into who they are and into our world, which doesn't always cater for them. Take care, guys.